G'day guys, here we are. Today we're going to start toothing out this brickwork. Got to tooth out every half brick. Then when I get to the window, because of this gap here, I'm going to have to, starting with this brick here, I'm going to have to tooth out every full brick until I get above the window. Right, let's get into it. Now we've still got to chisel all the old mortar off. So I'll get into that, but there's no point in me showing you all that, as it's a very boring job. Welcome back guys. Today we continue on with the renovation of the rear window. I'm just setting up to lay my first course. All the toothing out has been done. You'll notice I came in an extra brick where the window is, and that was because there's a gap between the reveal and the window, the aluminium window part here. It steps in, and my old ones didn't do that, so I'm going to have to pack out the full brick so it comes up neatly against the window, and cut the half bricks a little longer so that they also meet up with the window frame there. That's the reason. But I only need to do that where the window edge is, so it's only 700. Okay, so that's the reason that I've cleaned up all my bricks, mainly on the faces. And the important part is so that they get a good bond for the mortar, because that edge on some of them, mainly on the ones out here, were all painted because that's where the window finished or started from the old window. So we've got my string line set up, and I'm pretty happy with the level. So I just screwed a screw into the mortar there as low, so I'm touching the bottom of the brick below it, because when you run the string line, you want it to be touching the top of your first course of your brick after you've got mortar on the bottom, and then you'll keep doing the same thing as you go up. As you can see, we're pretty level there. With that done, I'm gonna just clean up the brickwork. Got a little bit of loose debris. I'll just get the vac and vac that up. I'll sweep it out, and then I'll start mixing the mortar and start laying some bricks. I've already worked out, I've put in my first course, just a mock up with me spacing, and that works out well all the way across there. And I've done a couple of cuts, which you would have may see in a future video, which I haven't finished editing. I don't know which one will go up first. And I actually did the 45 cuts to work out the brickwork for that edge there. It was a little different and a little challenging, but I think I worked it out. I've also marked out where all my studs are and my ties going to go, and the gaps for the weep holes, which the first one will start pretty much inside that bottom first starting brick there. There'll be a gap and no mortar will go on the end there. That one will be a bit of a challenge because when I get squish from the top and the bottom to get in there with mortar, it's going to ooze everywhere, but I can sort of clean that out afterwards, no problem. And they go every third brick, and I've already marked them as we go along, all along here, and ties all the way up, and the tops have been marked. I don't know how it's coming up on the camera because of the light, but there's lines and tie marks all the way up that stop, I think, 3 courses before the top. And so I'm going to get into it, and I'll bring you back when we're ready. Okay guys, there it is. We've got a course and 3/4, I suppose, done. I wasn't trying to do a whole heap today. I just wanted to get a start on it. I find these first 2 courses are the hardest, mainly because I'm on my knees so much, and it's sort of hard to get your levels, to check your levels. I know I've got a string line there, but that's only so accurate in my book. I like to put a level along the bricks, starting bricks, and then move on to the ones I've put on, just to see that I'm maintaining the level, and same as up and down. And because you've only got 1 brick, when you go to the second course, you haven't got a lot of stability to anchor that level off, if you know what I mean. But it looks like it's coming along okay. I'm pretty happy with it, and we're looking pretty good. We're sort of keeping it within the string line, and it's looking pretty straight. So I'm pretty happy. So that's it for now. You'll see me continue in a couple of seconds, but it'll actually be nearly a week for me, because I've got about a week of work before I have some more days off. All right guys, catch you very soon. See ya. Okay guys, here we are, a bit of an update. Sorry I didn't show you when I put the insulation in. I'm on a bit of a schedule. The air conditioning installers they've ran their power and their the refrigerant pipe work, and there's a drain pipe for the aircon there. There's our air conditioner down there, well, part of it. And I've just installed the plaster, cut the hole for their all their pipe work, and that's all been, insulation was installed before the plaster went on, and that's been glued and screwed on now. I'll take you around the back, show you how they run the pipe. It's didn't quite turn out as I'd liked. I was hoping they were going to run the copper pipe through the stud work, but they ran it on the outside of the brickwork. I think they mainly did that because I've got this plaster here, and once they went through here, they couldn't see. There was no way to get through any noggins to go down the wall and then come out. So they would have had to go all the way around and down the window and then come back this way. Okay, so here we are on the outside. I've just duct taped the hole for a bit now for now. Pipe work comes out there, and it runs along the wall, and then this comes down there. The drain line is going to be connected to here. It's already connected to there, and that's been run into my downpipe, which was conveniently located here. So I will just then cut a brick this much shorter and fill all this with a bit of mortar. There's going to be an isolator here, so that isolator, I'll just bend that in there so it comes out flush underneath it, and mortar will cork that in, and then the brick will come out from outside here and continue out. I'll just cut the brick down the thickness of this conduit, and then the same will happen down here. These will be brought in against the wall there, and run into there, and then the unit is going to sit on a wall bracket. So once I build the wall, they will then drill into the brickwork to hang the bracket, and it's going to sit 2 bricks high, right where that, well, it's 2 bricks high there. It'll be sitting right on height with that, because the unit itself comes up just below the window there, because it's quite a big unit. Problem that I'm not 100% happy with is that I have to install a lentil above this window, and it's got to go under this brick, and it goes up 150 mil, so it's going to be really slid underneath inside there to get past this pipe work. But I've actually pulled this out. I had a talk with the installer, and I can push that back in there so I can clear it. I have to do that when I put the lentil in, but yeah, it should be okay, because if I can push it back up out of the way, I've got a bit of play there, I can do that. And this stuff will compress, so I can slide it in past it. So it shouldn't be a problem. And even this drain line, the lentil is actually going to compress it a little bit, because there's just not enough gap between the brick and that. But it's going to compress it a little bit, and he said that's fine as long as you don't block it off. But yeah, I really haven't got a lot of choice. But when I measured it, I had probably about, it's going to be about 2 or 3 mil of worth of compression on it, and it won't block it off. But yeah, not ideal. I would have rather it be run on the inside, and then just sort of popped out here, and then it could have been run on inside. There's a bigger cavity here because there's the stud wall. They've got double stud here. That's the problem. It has to come out past the double stud, where if we drill through it, we could have just popped out on the other side and it wouldn't have been an issue. But it is what it is, and we will have to deal with it. But pipe work will be all concealed, so you won't see, because otherwise you would have seen on the outside of the brickwork one of those big white covers going all the way over here and coming all the way down the window, and it would have looked just terrible. So this way, now all you will see is the drain plug coming out here, which I'll paint that the same colour as the bagging, and you have an isolator there, and then you won't even, I think this actually sits in behind the unit, not on the side of the unit where it connects, so you won't even see the pipework coming out unless you look down, like from down there sort of thing. So it'll be a very clean install once it's all bricked up. And yeah, and we put it on that side of the window because we didn't want to be coming around the corner and forget it's there and sort of run into it. Could have put it in the middle, but because we've got the downpipe there, I wanted it as close to the downpipe as I could get it. Otherwise we would have had a well, it didn't really matter actually, because that doesn't need to be next to the unit, so that could have still gone there even though the unit was over here. But I just thought keep everything close together, and it'll just keep it a neater install. Yeah. Okay guys, we've done a little more. Very slow progress on this one. I've been cutting these bricks to try and maintain a line on this 45 here. Try and maintain that line. So that one's mortared in, this one's not, so I'll do that tomorrow and then continue on with the third course, because that one and that one, I don't want to cut these bricks because yeah, you get a varying gap as you come along. It's never exactly the same, even though I put a spacer in there. Sometimes when I'm tapping it, it moves left or right, so it's, you can't keep it exact. So I'll wait till I get to this brick here and then I'll cut the next one to overlap there and trim it off, and then I'll put a smaller brick in there and then go with a longer one on the top from this end to try and keep these two as strong as I can. So this one had the short one, and now this one was a long one, and now I've gone from this side to the long one to cover that edge, and I'll just keep doing that, alternating every brick to overlap, and I'll go for make for a stronger joint. So that's the outside, and tomorrow I've already trimmed this brick down so it's in the middle, matching the one below it, with the gap for the aircon piping and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's all good there, and I'll have to do something similar up here. And I've filled inside, and I've done a first coat on the inside of the plaster. Okay, here we are. I've just applied a second coat to just this part here. I'm using the paper tape, not the fiberglass mesh, and that one's only got, it's got two coats, but the first coat was basically just to build up the new board, because it wasn't as thick. It didn't match up with the height of the original board that's painted above it. So the first coat just built it up on the taper to get the edges flush, and then once that dried and I'd finished bricking outside, I came inside and I've applied a light layer on it, and then I've embedded my tape onto that bed so it would stick, and then I've gone over the top of that tape with a fine layer all the way along, and then I've come down there. You can actually see the tape, and there it is down there as well for that joint. And I just went over these ones for the screw holes. I know there's probably too many screws in there. There's also glue behind it, but yeah, I didn't want any movement, so a couple extra screws. It's my work, don't judge me. I'm no plasterer, but we should be able to get it looking fairly nice. I have done a bit of fill work and patchwork since we painted, so I've sort of got a fair idea, but it's coming along okay. That'll still need another 2 coats probably on top of that. So we'll that's only like the 50mm trowel, and then I'll go over it with the 150, and then I'll go over it with the 250 trowel. So it's 2 more coats to go on that. So we're getting there. Tomorrow I may go over this, or because it's going to be hot, I may brick first and then come inside here and finish off this. I'll give this another coat because it's going to be hot. I'd like to get the bricking that I'm going to do done, and then come in here where it's cooler and do this. All right, that's it for today, and I'll see you later. All right, guys, a little bit done today. Got 3 courses done, and it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. We've got our pipe work covered up. Well, I've mortared in through the wall there, and we're really got a handle on this 45 on the corner there, so that's starting to look nice. Yeah, it's getting it pretty straight. Whole wall's coming up pretty straight. So yep, all happy with that. It's coming along really well. So I'm real happy with that, and I've done a bit more on the inside. I'll show you that now. All right, not sure how much you're going to see in here because it's a bit darker in here. But I have given it another coat. I've given it a light sand, feathered, removed all the rough spots that were a bit higher, and then given it another coat. I've sort of got a bit of a problem with this corner up here. I'm getting an uneven surface, so I'm feathering it out wider on this second coat because I've got to fill more area. So that'll come down around here on the next coat and just sort of ease that transition to the above angle because it's a little different for some reason. Yeah, so this has had another coat and the tape's disappearing on its second coat there, and this one here is all but disappeared, and that's sort of had 3 coats. This one I do notice I can see a little bit of tape there, and as it dries that'll probably come through again, so that might need another lip just to cover that, just a light covering. And I've sanded all these drill holes. They only needed 2 coats. Some of them only needed 1. Some of them went a little bit deep and they needed 2 coats because it sinks in when it dries, it shrinks. But yeah, we're getting there. It's looking okay. And from back here, and there's going to be a couch in front of this wall, so you're not going to really see much of this wall at all between the air conditioner and the couch, and there's usually all plants in this corner too. Yeah, you barely see any wall, but I'll try and get it as best I can because we're actually enjoying this wall because you can see into the backyard all the time. We quite like it. So hopefully we'll have the blind up most of the time and keep the view going. See you on the next update. Alright, I thought I'll finally show you me doing some brickwork. I'm not quick, and by all means no professional, and I constantly check my work. With this small level sitting on the brick, it's got a bubble that does horizontal as well as, I suppose they're both horizontal, but does it in this plane as well as that plane. So the brick, even though it's level in this way, it needs to be level this way and that way as well. And yeah, I like to check that too, as well as using the level to make sure I'm keeping it in and out along there and horizontal with the wall. Yeah, there's a lot of planes to check. Alright. A lot of the other guys use these big trails. I only use this as a tapper. I don't like it for putting the mud on. Actually getting a little bit too high for the steel. Alright. So we just sort of plonk it in there and push it into, I've got a valley in each brick. I push it in there, and that sort of flares up the sides, which I want it to flare up on this side, but that side I sort of push it back in because I don't want it to fall in underneath there. just sort of angle it in there. Probably put too much because I want it to ooze out and fill everything and not go too low. This is a bit of a soft mix, so I'm sort of building it up a bit because I know it's going to sink down, but that mix will dry out and come to perfect very soon. Okay. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but I've noticed that when I wet the bricks, the mortar sticks to it, the end better, so it must stick to the rest of the brick better. So I dip the brick in water, sort of shake it off. I'm no professional. I don't make it look good. And we angle the brick lower to the back and then squeeze it to level with the, yeah, this is our wet mix. Small level on there, and we give it a tap. Wipe off the excess. We check from over here on the angle. Now it's got to come out a bit. She's a wet mix, she's a bit slippery everywhere. I'm going to have to be careful. Okay. And I scoop out the excess in the valley because I don't want that drying before I come back for my next brick. Check again because it's wet. It's good. Alright, go on to the next one. Same thing. Now I've got two bricks with the valley. I've got an end there and an open end here. I like to put two bricks together with an open valley. So this one will go that way and I'll have an open one on the outer side of this brick. Push in till you've got about 10 bricks, 10 mil. Wipe off your excess. And you just keep repeating. level across several bricks to maintain I'm actually level. I know this string line's level, but this is just like a double checking to me, and then when I get further along I'll use the longer level to make sure I'm keeping level over even more bricks, and that's good. Beautiful. Good. Do another. Gentle on your tapping, because it moves very easily. You've got to be careful when you're pushing it over, because it's like it suctions when it's wet, and it sort of pulls it back. So you do need to sort of sift it past how far you want, and then push it back. Okay. I'll just check that here. And I'll just continue this all the way along. Yeah, your mortar mix, like I said, I think I've said it a few times, it makes or breaks you. It makes it easier or it makes it really hard. Too dry and you have to tap down really hard and it doesn't fill up all the gaps. Too wet and it sinks under the weight of the brick. So yeah, you've got to try and get that right. This is a little on the wet side, but not too bad. So and it will dry out a bit as I spread it along. So I just have to be a little bit careful when I lay the brick that I don't push too hard down. When you lay this out, because it's exposed to more air, it dries out a bit quicker and it'll firm up a bit. So you've got that as well. What I'm doing, you know, to an experienced bricklayer would probably find half a dozen, if not more, things wrong. But this is how I'm doing it. It's working for me. So unless I come across another better way, I'm going to continue with it. Like I said, it's slow, but I have noticed I'm getting a lot quicker. So there's that. when I've noticed brick layers, because I mainly got all my info from watching, you know, I suppose professional bricklayers who have got YouTube channels, watching them on YouTube, and they don't dip the brick in water. They do it all a lot quicker. They don't put a level on each brick, they just use the level on the line. But I tried it like that at first, but it didn't work for me. Because I've had no formal training with this. It's basically just trial and error and watching others do it. Okay. Right. Well, I'm going to turn the camera off now. As much as I'd like to show you more, but I feel like I've got to keep talking to you and I really need to concentrate. I don't want to keep talking to you because I know I'm going to make mistakes. So I'm going to turn you off and then I'll come back and show you once I've finished this. Catch you soon. Okay, here we are, guys. I've done a fair bit more. This is probably 2 days worth since the last update. And it's really starting to look like a wall now because we've got the soldiers in under the windowsill there. That come up not bad. I'm pretty happy with that. That rubber seal is a little bit of a fiddly, and I've got a couple of low ones there, but yeah, it really can't be helped now. And I dare say, when you look at the state of the other ones, that's going to all be stripped back and painted again and rendered and painted again. It's meant to be a rough look, so probably being a little bit too careful with it all, if I must say. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. It's looking all right, and I think it's going to do the job. But I've still got the other half to go, so, and then I've got to finish. I've got to paint the inside, trim around the window on the inside, and paint all that as well. So still a bit to go, but you know, I don't think there's any rush because our summer's pretty much over. We're about to move into March, and even though the weather's still quite warm, it's only going to get cooler from here on in. So the aircon is not going to be a real priority. We'll just get this wall finished, and then we'll worry about that later. All right, see you in the next update.